Part two of the previous show. Mark, what are you doing? What have you got this week? You've got obviously Canterbury Park, which is interesting, and I'm looking at all your markets. I think the markets that we're looking at now, Mark, are going to be totally different to what the XPs are, and I think that's where your sheet is going to be worth even more tomorrow.
Yeah, there's a sort of a staleness to the markets that have been posted that won't stand up, in my opinion. So watch this space.
Yeah, I think if you get Mark's stuff, you can. If you want to trade away, I would say Mark's sheet is an absolute moral to make you money on the trades.
Certainly, and we've got Newcastle tomorrow to look forward to,
Yes.
which late July looks good. Newcastle, it's horses popping up. Wyong Tuesday, another good trading winning meeting. And where are we Wednesday for the last
thing with
meeting?
Why it could be the last.
Backing up at Canterbury.
Meeting. Yeah, we're at Canterbury again. But it's that last 2-year-old race, so I think he could be flooded with a couple of decent horses from decent stables.
Look, it gets better from here, folks.
Right. Lovely. And with Mark's stuff, obviously you can buy. There's hopefully the option to be able to buy Mark singly is up on the site. If you just wanted the Saturday stuff on a weekly basis, you can buy that straight away. If it isn't, which I hope it is, to buy the single ones, just email me, dallas@puntyshow.com.au, and we'll send them out to you that way in the next couple of days if that feature isn't up. But it's very easy. All right, Tester Shadow is $7 over $12.50 for the Blood and Snow Cup Festival thing for the 3-year-olds. Last 3-year-old race of the season in Sydney on a Saturday. 4:40 way we go, and 7:50 rating media will dominate the market. What happens here, Mark, with the tempo?
Well, this is like, Claire Nutman jumps off and Karen jumps on. It's just like it's a beauty, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where does he go from the wide gate?
He may try and go all the way forward, all the way there. But I'd suggest that Global Domination, well, Aerobar will certainly hop out. Global Domination would be keen for the van. Grundazite will be looking to trail, and Way We Go will be pressing. And I don't know how. And it's determined he'll be.
Yeah, and pressing and hoping to get in, and that's obviously the big key to the race. Well, let's start with Way We Go. Obviously, a bit of a boom off it. As you said, Claire Nutman off, Karen on. The wide draw, the big increase in weight, backers and layers all over the shop here, Mark.
Yeah, it's a bit mad, isn't it? I mean, he found the perfect lane at Randwick and got the job done. This just looks like a race to get a bit carved up, but.
And you've said 10 to 1. People will say, we'll let you know that 10 to 1 Mark has said. Way We Go. That's
So rubber stamping him as a lay at the current price.
Yeah. I think this race is radically different from the 1100 at Randwick, isn't it?
Yep.
And aside from the fact that Way We Go was there doing nice things, but in the P position, and whilst Reigning Meteor does get Shin tomorrow and had to come through the middle, he was still well set up as well. So, yeah, I'm thinking I'm turning this race on its head.
Okay, beautiful. All right, Way We Go. What's your comments on it?
I just want to ask a question. If it has B Shin instead of McAvoy, do you still mark it 10 to 1?
No. No, I mean, this. Well, what do you think he'll do on it?
I can't try and
hit and hope.
I just do not know what he'll try and do. He's had luck with just going forward from those wide gates, so it wouldn't be wild to think that he'll do that.
My view on it is, I think he'll push forward and be trying to get 4th or 5th. That's where and trying to get in there, and that could end up with him going forward a little bit, going back a little bit. It just depends on whether the way
his only hope here is to find the lead.
Right,
which he could do.
Yeah, it's a long enough run. Yeah.
But it's a long run to the turn. Yeah,
but it's also not a great doing that. Isn't the easiest play at Canterbury, is it?
Well, I think if the horse is. See, we don't actually know how talented the horse is yet.
That's right. Well, it has had clever, and you say that it was in the right spot, but the way that horse was travelling looked like that horse was not going to go because it was reefing and pulling, and it just looked uncomfortable with Claire Nutman on it.
Yeah.
And at least.
But horses travel for girls, Dal.
They do. Well, one thing that about Karen though, horses do travel for Karen. That's one of the keys to it. If he doesn't go forward and back, push the accelerator and brake, and get the horse, unhappy, if that horse can just come across and get whatever the run is. he becomes a good chance.
Well, okay. I missed this horse the other day, and I didn't need to miss it. I did miss it. I think the other day was a better day for it than tomorrow.
Yep.
I think it's a tricky one. I just want to assess him, get there. It's $3. I'm not on him. It's $6. I'm on him. That's where I am.
Yeah.
And in between becomes fuzzy.
I want to say too, I know he's got the good-looking wet track form, but I would be surprised if he doesn't improve on a drying track.
Well, he's a big horse. He is bred to get it.
I know you mentioned that to me the other day. Yeah, he is bred to it, but I'd still think he would be better on a drying surface.
I think he will be better on a drying surface.
Yeah. So, but then again,
he's a
he's
horse
better.
that does get through.
But he's going to be better on a better track like Randwick as opposed to Canterbury as well too.
He's
Anyway,
very-
so what we're saying there's backers and layers, and we've made a case for the backers and the layers. So next, what horse you want to talk about, mate?
Grundazite.
Grundazite. Okay. Are we talking about a horse that's going to be scratched or not?
No, it's like he got a Saturday race at Canterbury. It's won 3 races at Canterbury.
And we go.
Unbeaten at the track, unbeaten track and distance. The one thing about Canterbury I've always found with certain horses like Canterbury, it's always been for me horses for courses track. They seem to like that surface. I think he could be one of those horses. The Wingers on the trial between the runs was outstanding. A few of his races didn't get run to suit. He doesn't like to lead. He likes to go forward, but he needs to find cover. I think he'll get that run here. He could be 1 by 1 around there somewhere.
Yeah, he's attempting to replicate his first up run, win, isn't he?
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking.
All right. Good as I'm personally just sick of talking about it.
Well, that's right. He's not going to get you excited.
No, because we've sat here and spoke about him 15 times in the last
and
6
you're also
weeks.
thinking that, it's Johnny obvious that he's 3 from 3 at Canterbury, isn't
Yeah, well, you got to remember too, those stats are based on midweek numbers too. I mean, even though this isn't the number 1 Saturday race of all time, those Canterbury stats are based on a midweek. Off a midweek set.
Look, I'm going to make everyone unhappy by suggesting that Dupum, who Glenn drew gate 1 the other day and made full use of gate 1,
Yeah.
is he's in a race with Tempo, which he wasn't 2 starts back when he came back to the 1200. I mean, everyone's sick of him. I realise that.
My only problem is he's not in a race in Mackay because they're not to possibly find him.
All right, I think we'll move right along from there.
Good call, Aaron. What horse do you want to mention?
Well, Grundazite and Reigning Meteor.
Reigning Meteor?
He got held up the other day. No, he wouldn't have won, but he definitely finishes closer. He beats the rest comfortably. He's the kind of horse that looks at Blake Shin, just rubber stamp, rides those horses to perfection.
All right. Well, my honourable mention is to Roaring to Win, who was ridden awfully by Christian Reith the other day in that same race. If we're turning that race up on its head, it's entitled to come out the other side.
Yep.
But in saying that, I suppose the wet track is an advantage to it. Barrier 1 probably helps it as well too. And whilst it's still wet enough for it to still pole bases on the track. Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, okay. Race 6 is $12.50 for 3 odds and up, benchmark 85, $4.60 Cool Ring, $6.50 Christy Lee, $5 Breakfast in Bed, and $4.20 for Forget on the backup. And John Mack continues to go well. Aaron, I normally throw to Matt there. Where's Matt? Fuck you,
We'll have to
useless.
call him. I am a little bit useless.
Yeah, you want to talk about John McLeod?
No, not really.
He
Why
wants
not?
to talk about
I-
Steve Fletcher.
Oh, come on, that was a low blow.
Why? You're mates with Fletch.
We are mates with Fletch.
That's right, you don't know John McLeod from Barstow.
Well, you see
No,
his
I don't.
stuff.
I do see his stuff.
What do you got to say about his stuff?
I haven't seen his stuff in the last 2 weeks. So his stuff was going outstanding.
Yeah. Anyway,
That
John
Queensland Carnival I
McLeod.
did
John
watch.
McLeod is a genius, and his stuff is available for the meeting at.
One thing I will say about John McLeod, he seems to link in on 1 or 2 horses that he likes, and if they win, a lot of time he sets win, and I like sets to do that.
Yeah. Sunshine Coast, that's what we want to say about John McLeod. As we all often say about Sunshine Coast and John McLeod, this is the allergy to money stuff. If you've got an allergy to money, do not get John McLeod set at the Sunshine Coast. He normally absolutely
You've got an allergy to
destroys-
money, what are you watching this site for?
Exactly right. So, but if he normally absolutely destroys Sunshine Coast. So, Sunshine Coast Saturday meeting, John McLeod, your man. Jump on board. Cool Ring 4, I mentioned that. What are we saying, Mark? Pace.
That Alias will be ridden to lead tomorrow. So, I mean, there's a lot in the steward's report, Joey saying the horse needs to dictate. So there he is in that alley with no pace on his outside, driven to lead. Obviously, Breakfast in Bed was ridden positively the other day back in distance here. There's a slight problem with that map there. I don't know what she's doing there.
Christy Lee Christy Lee leading. Your man Nash is on it. He's going to take control. Get the hooks out.
But nothing like Luca go forward?
Yeah,
Yes.
nothing like Luca could certainly go forward, and Coolring will posse up with the blinkers back on. So
And-
it's D-Day, third up, good old Canterbury,
Yeah.
his happy hunting ground.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Just forget, get ridden cold again?
Forget,
Drops
no,
it.
it gets ridden by Kieran. That's who. What's it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so what does he do?
But,
Goes back.
It goes from B-shin, win-win to Kieran, one game.
Yeah.
Probably back because they've won 2 times
Yeah.
from it. Yeah, but it is Karen too. Whatever.
Yeah, well, I'm saying forget here.
All right, lovely. Working down the page. First horse, Coolring. Blinkers on. Third up, Go Day for Coolring.
Yep. First up run was good. Second up run was flat. It was
Terrible second up run.
Yeah, it was terrible. But he's a horse that I don't think can lead without blinkers. I'm a big believer in. I don't like pushing horses to the front. They don't like doing it, especially blinker horses, because they get there, they stargaze and they stop. That's it. It was terrible. I'm just putting it down to a flat run. I always try and give a horse one forgive run. And I think the blinkers going back on. Third up, to Canterbury, a track which he loves. I think he's 3 from 4 track at distance.
And one of those being a Saturday win too.
Yes. I think he's the one. He should just box. He looks the box seat, Huey.
I don't think there's much to him as a horse, but he gets all the little set-up things. He gets Huey, he gets barrier 1, box seat, blinkers on, third up, set for being third up. I wouldn't even worry about what he's done first and second up because it doesn't really count. Because this is with a lot of these horses with Bjorns, it's a plan to be right, third up, throw the kitchen sink at them, and this is when you want to do it. And the rest of the time, not that they're not participating, but they're building to this time. This is go time. Coolring sets up well. I think he gets a tick for me, Mark. From your point of view.
Yeah. Yeah, look, it's a proviso because, I mean, he was well placed the other day to do something and did nothing. Like, he sat up on the speed in a slowly run race in the right lane and was first or speed.
So I don't think he was well set up though. A lot of people were saying, and even Bjorn goes, I think he can win. He's there for all those reasons you said, but it's a bit like that shooting the win theory. He leads on a soft pace, but he can't lead. And that was one.
Yeah, I know, but there's still got to be, well, okay, so you argue that this is not in favour of the horse, but is it so much not in favour of the horse that struggles to beat the ambulance home?
He only got beaten 5.7. It wasn't like
That's a long
15.
way.
Yeah, I guess.
I'd rather it be 15.
Well, look,
Yeah.
I have to
Like
go with the
15
horse tomorrow. I'm just saying.
ambulance,
that it's a bit like Grundazide. It's like all the ticks are there.
Yeah, but there's a hollowness.
All the ducks are in line.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. That's my point. Everything's there apart from the hollowness of the horse isn't that much good.
But I think that's just this time of year as well,
Yeah.
with a lot of races and horses that you find that are in the market.
Well, no, but for example, let's go back to Wednesday at Warwick Farm. You have a horse like Lord Leofric,
Yeah.
who is doing things of substance. Do you know what I mean? Like we're alluding to horses that are structurally well put together.
Yeah.
I'll give you a perfect example. The staying race that Huey rode the winner. What's its name?
Defrost My Heart.
Defrost My Heart. It was interesting ride, shall I say. First up, Tommy Berry, 15 lengths last, run through the field, flashing white, beautiful. Went to Canterbury, well backed. He did get beaten, I think, 15 lengths, and then come out and pissed in yesterday.
Stayers. You know, SP. Sprinters, I think, look, in the same vein, but not as, I don't think you're allowed to be as forgiving of sprinters as you are of stayers.
Okay.
All right, that's so.
I'm with
Yeah.
Coolring.
Yeah.
I'd have to put Christy Lee with him.
Yeah,
simply
so that-
because she hasn't put in a bad run.
No, she's been great. She was out of play.
Like, how could
Didn't
she-
participate.
That was
the other day.
way too slowly run the
Oh,
other
awful
day.
for her. Awful. But she's running. I reckon she's running as good as she possibly can be, and she is maligned because she gets her head on her side and all that sort of shit. But she normally runs right up to her numbers every single time, and she has got a great sprint. I think Nash is the right horse. But Aaron and I had this discussion about it last night. I don't know if getting your eye in at Canterbury first up, and or with a horse like Tricky Lee, it's a hard deck to face first up for your man Nash. and who can get a little bit wobbly at times. You know, like I don't know, but yeah, she can be dangerous. I don't think Canterbury's obviously not her track, but she's going great, isn't she?
Yeah.
Although she has raced there well in the past, I must say.
Keith Christy-Lee, yes. Anything?
Yeah, well, it's a horse that I've found a few times. I said she's come back outstanding. She just hasn't found the right race.
All right, the backer-uppers will do as a pair.
Back in distance slightly, I think the sooner
Yeah, it's a range. It's the right range. Breakfast in bed and forget on the backup. What do we say?
Well, I like what Breakfast in Bed did last week, and I think she's likeable in some respects in this race.
Keep in mind, this is her last start.
It's the last start before being a mum.
This is her last start.
So everything's thrown.
I'm sure this is going to be it. Last start. Back up, shades on.
Yep.
Off to the breeze.
And the slightly better track is well in her favour.
Well in her favour.
And Forget, I thought, won a race that was forgettable last week. So
Absolute PR. Perfect run.
And there's one other, Turbulent Jet. If it does run, I think if they want to see the track get to a soft 7-2 run. I think
it's dangerous
here.
It's dangerous, very dangerous.
He's flying, getting back to a firmer track with a little bit more pace on that race up in, as you said, Grafton just wasn't run the suit at all, and I thought he ran outstandingly well.
Beautiful. All right, lovely. So, what are we saying from a punting point of view? I'd be playing around Cool Ring and Christy-Lee.
Certainly.
That's what you'd be thinking, sort of thing?
Yeah, I'm so keen to take on Forget. Because I concede chances to all the other chances in the race.
Yep, and something has to be squared out. Aaron?
I think I want to wait and see how the track plays, because I'm any one of 4 horses in Coolering, Christy-Lee, Breakfast in Bed and Turbulent Jet. I want to see how that track,
okay.
I'll be playing between
classic
two
handicap.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's very good. It's very good. All right, but before we move along, you can talk to us about our good mate Fletch, who was his last Saturday Melbourne and Sydney set was really, really good. Seeing all the horses they were going to back, watching them firm, being on the right horses.
That is the biggest key to his
you're on the right horses.
You're on the firm ones. And like you said, with trading with marks that you can practically do it with.
Yeah, absolutely. If that's what you want to do, but you're going to be backing horses at this price. They're going to be starting that price, and if you keep doing that, especially when they're favoured by the right people, you're going to be you can't not win.
It was good for me as well, because if the horses you want to bet, like if you like 2 and he's saying 2's going to be up the gate, play.
Exactly right. It gives you a very quick snapshot into what the betting's going to be for each race in Sydney, each race in Melbourne, plus also finding you some winners too. So there's a couple of ways to handle it, and whatever way you handle it, you're going to be winning on it. So I think you can still get it for $75 for the pair, or $55 individually. Text message to you about straight after the previous race's run, so about half an hour before every race. It gives you plenty of time to bet with it, and away you go with Fletcher stuff. Or you can just get the basic service for $20, which is fantastic. Finding a stack of winners there. You'll probably get about 8 or 9 selections on a Saturday, 6 or 7 on a Wednesday, the Friday moral, and away we go.
He's been very good in those out wide places.
Yeah, that's right. You know, the little edges.
Morals, those $3 morals. Fight in the front. By 3.
And places you might never have heard of before, but there's still 2-1 there, 2-1 at Rosehill.
Very true.
Fletch,
and you'll expand your geography.
Yeah, exactly. It's a geography lesson. You get everything. From the Punter Show, the all-new Punter Show. Jimmy Wood Memorial, over 1,100 metres for the fillies and mares. Miniature $4.60, Miss Pen 10 pence $4. Hard to hold $4.20, and Echo Gal $5 in a wide market. Mark, who does what?
Who does do what? That's a very good question. We saw a ridden with purpose Il Mio Destino the other day.
Over 1,000 metres, yes.
You know, she was gunned out by a very conscientious Jess Taylor. Underneath her, you've got Echo Gal, who would perhaps like to be in front. Hard to Hold doesn't have to be in front tomorrow, so won't be. And Miss Tenpins draws 1, so you imagine she gets crossed. So I've got Echo Gal and Il Mio Destino playing for the front. Miss Tenpins and Hard to Hold behind them. Miniature taking a trail midfield, and there's a possibility that Awasita might be driven forward from a wide gate to see what might happen.
All right, well,
Obviously, Jimmy says yes, and Define go at the back.
all right, lovely. Well, I'll start it off here because it sort of sums up my view on the race. Echo Gal, I think it's got probably about 4 to 5 lengths on these on ability if she's right, but I obviously comes down to the mounting yard, Aaron. I'm using the correlation with Marty, as we saw. First up, it paraded very, very big. Second up, we're thinking, and she'd even had a trial in between. Second up, thinking, she might be really tight and right up. She'd improved, 1/100th of a length, I think, probably first to second up, so really hadn't. So it all comes down to Echo Gal, same sort of thing. She paraded big first up. The month in between runs, thinking, they might have put the work into it, or it also might be thinking that this is another preparation run as well, too, for something bigger in the carnival. All comes down to the mounting yard. If she parades well, she's a moral, and if she parades big, she can't win.
Okay.
Simple as that. There's Echo Gal. Any comments on her?
I'm surprised she's not favourite. Because, we've got a situation here where Hard to Hold was a 20 to 1 bias-assisted winner. What else can you say? But it could be, Dal, you're talking about horses, you're expecting improvement from these horses when Gay gets them ready, and if they look like that, that's probably how they're going to look.
That's right, exactly. I think I wouldn't be surprised to see her. She's either 5 to 4 or 50 to 1. The 5 can stay there with her price, but you either put a 4 in front of it or a 0 after it. Yeah, so depending on how she parades. And that's how Marty was too, Aaron, isn't it? It's exactly the same thing.
Marty was like that. But on Echo Gal, I couldn't mark a favourite. I've got no opinion of the horse. I think
All right, who would you like to mark favourite?
Then exactly. Yeah, we've said Echo Gal tick tick. You've said Cross.
I'm not saying
tick,
tick,
Dal.
Dal.
You're
I'm
not saying.
I'm just going. Here she is. She's likeable in some respects, but she's getting a tail.
I'd probably mark Miss Tempin's favourite.
All right. Okay. Why? What's the case for Miss Tempin? Sat wide first up on one.
Yeah, sat wide first up one. Yes, being that you were able to be out there, but still, I don't think sitting 4 wide with an apprentice girl swinging off you was anything good. The way she
coming back to
impressive.
1100 here, what are we asking? What are we looking for?
Oh, well, she should just box seat, as you said. I like where they sat on the map. I think the 2 Bjorn horses are the 2 to beat. I think Hard to Hold's come back. I think both of these mares have come back in great order. I think they get the gun run, they're going to sit there, they've got the 2 leaders, they pop off, they've got 2 very informed riders, and I think they're racing exceedingly well. The thing with Echo Gal is I think she's, from day dot, she's always been overly sprued. So she trolled impressively. She's been a fast horse, one of Gay's fast horses, won some of those young lead-up races, and she's obviously been a horse with issues because she's still quite lightly raced. I think she's over-sprued. That's my opinion.
But she's $5 in a race where Miss Tempin's is favourite. I don't think that's over-sprued.
No, but she has been over-spruiked in the past, is my point. There's 2 smart people that are both saying she'll be favourite, and there's a lot of people saying, I want to find her, I want to find her, I want to find her.
Oh, as I said,
fair enough.
I'm only saying she's favourite if she parades well. If she doesn't parade well, she's a million.
This is another race, Dale, where there's 6 chances,
Yeah.
and I'd be scared shitless of Define first up, having a first up preparation for Gerald
Yep.
with no trial.
Because she went I was trying to work it out. She went to Gerald midway through the prep. didn't she?
Yeah, midway.
So he's turned up here with no trial, which is perfect. I'd be scared if Jimmy says yes. I just think this race is a little bit messy.
Just labelled my 2 roughies.
Love what Miss Tenpins did first up, but this looks very different. But she's going so well that it doesn't matter.
I went to the race. I knew she'd trialled exceptional, and I went to the races thinking, you've got the girl on, white meat, this, that, and the other. You'll be my bet second up. And when I saw her in the yard, I'm like, "Oh, you're more forward than I thought." And she did what she did. She still had improvement. Don't get me wrong, but she was more forward than I thought she'd be first up. If I think second up, it's going to improve.
Right.
Miniature, I want to
Yes,
talk about.
I want to talk about miniature too because that's my other favourite.
Yeah, well, she came back to Sydney. She sat in the wrong lane. She did some work, and she gets the right sort of park here with McDonald. I'm surprised she's so well found, but then again, I suppose she's connected, isn't she?
She's connected, and she does look like one of the ones that they might have made a bit of a project horse for Jones on to get the premiership. I wrote down in my notes on her, developing a little bit of cat features, and therefore the best distance for cats is 1100 metres. So that's
She's always been a cat, hasn't she? She looked.
well, I had a bit of a rap on her, but she's proven herself to be.
Proven herself.
Yeah, so 1100 metres, perfect distance for cats.
Yeah. See, Calming Influence and Miniature probably got destroyed by all that business.
So that
back,
business
back in the day.
surging. Nash, honourable mention to Nash in that. Anyway, the things there. So what are we saying about the race? Well, the way that I would want to play it is I want to see Echo Gal parade well, play her with Miniature. If Echo Gal doesn't parade well, I would be having something on Miniature, but I'd really like to be able to play both of them somehow, if that's the case.
Yeah, look, it reminds me a lot of race 6 style in that there's pluses and minuses, and it's going to be a good betting race. And I'm a little bit against Hard to Hold because I thought she was biased the other day. Certainly, considering Miniature, Miss Tinpins, and yeah, it's an even race.
I'm sticking with
Bjorn?
I'm sticking with Hard to Hold on top.
Okay. Well, you want to play both of Bjorns, or
No, possibly not.
just Hard to Hold?
Mainly Hard to Hold, and I thought the two roughies were the two you labelled in Defiant. She is a horse that's got ability, whether someone can actually harness it and get it right. She's definitely got that talent to sprint over the top of them, just whether she's right or not. And Jimmy says yes, it was a little bit unlucky, she should have finished a lot closer the other day.
Alright, perfect. One to follow, you can be the one to follow spokesman then, Aaron.
Yes.
But when I say one to follow, everything goes through one to follow now for them.
Everything goes through one to
But
follow.
the one to follow, $10 services, all that sort of business, they're fine.
They're going
Absolutely
well.
fine.
And Matt took his second week for the Fairnham, and he
Yep.
absolutely destroyed them. I think he was
Yep.
300% profit.
Brisbane Fairnham's going very,
nailed
very,
it. He got the
very
quaddie,
well. Quaddie had paid enormous too, didn't it?
6,000,
And there was
something
a
like
big
that.
price winner amongst the way.
5 winners on the card.
Yep.
And
Your
I think
stuff?
my stuff went for 3 winning sets in a row. They put the
Yeah.
pressure on, and
Yeah.
wouldn't it be nice with a through the ceiling? But
Yeah. It wasn't all
thank you,
right.
Thomas Huey.
On the Suez big day out. Yeah.
But other than that, no, look, we're just ticking away. I said last week it was going to be a tricky meeting, and you just had to try and find some value and not lose the profits from the weeks prior.
Perfect. All right, lovely. So the one to follow stuff, the $10 services, $20 services there, the budget type services, they're just great. They're in profit mode, simple as that. So if you just want a straight line test, back it, stake it as you want. But you know what? Even if you're level staking or you're staking it properly, I think whatever way you're doing it, you're winning.
Yeah.
From what the stats in the office I saw the other day are. So can't bag that.
And even the track code stuff's been going up.
There they are. There they are. No good to you.
I haven't seen it. You don't tell me.
Okay. I think 3 for 4 in Melbourne last week, and Rugged Cross, and actually it was Rugged Cross and 2 Blue that put on played well. Big so.
Don't want to hear about
Yeah.
those 2 horses.
There they are. Perfect. There they are. Yeah. Hollywood Bound is $6.50 in the last, $9 Great Esteem. Marin Ostro $2.70 on the backup, and Foreign Prince $8. These horses all seem like they're designated to run in the last race every week, Mark. But who leads? I'm in the money.
Well, it's keen, isn't it? I imagine the Foreign Prince is straight across and then takes a trail behind. I'm in the money coming across, and/or Moral Victory, and then we've got Marin Ostro. Great Esteem back along the inside, off the rails. I'm not sure he's going to be ridden tomorrow.
I'd say not leading.
Yeah,
Not leading, I'm assuming, with the right play.
Probably was the right
Hollywood
way, I
Bound out back on the inside.
Okay, all right. First horse we speak about is Marin Ostro on the backup from, as you said, the most Bages race of all time that we've probably seen in Sydney last week. Yeah, it is. It is.
Honestly.
It is. It is.
He's
It is.
just a superstar. 4 from 5 wins. He's a horse.
Oh,
playing place.
just go. Yeah, exactly.
That would be sarcasm.
Yeah, I think I mentioned on the RSN show, like it's his day to day, but it doesn't. I don't think he's got many more days in him. But it can easily
Keeps
be his day
finding these
tomorrow.
races.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
he returns to Canterbury where he's managed to win 2 recent races, and he gets ridden off the speed here, I think, but it could fall well for him. There's not much happening here. I mean, there are horses doing things, like Hollywood Bound has won 2 recent races, and Marin Ostro we've spoken about. I'm in the Money has run 3 good races in a row at Randwick, and Keep It to Yourself is doing something.
Jimmy Lee. Dean Green.
But there's one horse that I left out there deliberately because, to me, he looks so much better than the other horses, and that's Foreign Prince.
Oh, let's talk about Foreign Prince. Is it third up? Is it Godo?
Seems to be. I mean, he ran so well off the short break there at the 1200.
Yep.
And
And was above himself.
And then the other day, box seats in the walking race, which is not suitable at 1300. Gets to 1550 here. It's like,
Around Canterbury. Canterbury is probably not a bad track for him, is it?
I would think so.
Aaron, what do you say about Foreign Prince?
I gave him a real good chance first up. Didn't like him second up. Third up interests me a little bit.
Where are you looking?
Is in which horses?
Yeah.
I'm possibly looking for a quick exit from
Yeah.
Canterbury with this race.
Yeah.
That's where, to be honest,
Yeah.
I look at Marinostro. You sit there and you go, it's going to start short, and you want to oppose it,
Yeah.
but he's going to get all those right things again.
Well, I
Great
guess,
esteem,
just
probably won.
back to Marinostro though. I mean, I said here last week, the price about it, and you get to think even money, what a great price by the time it comes around to it. Obviously there were scratchings, and obviously it was that, but you know, you sort of start. The more you looked at it,